Not really sure. Being an evangelist or one of those individuals that go out and do missionary work is really good for me. I got invited to go out just as a photographer, and being a photographer, you have to kind of shoot things the way they are and not really get involved. And but it was just so hard for me because a lot of the little children that we saw, believe it or not, they seemed really happy in the environment they were in, but it's something that our kids probably wouldn't be too happy in. I saw a bunch of kids that they didn't have Wi-Fi. They didn't have a lot of the things, their own personal computers or phones or things like that, that our kids have. And yet they did something that our kids didn't do, which was play outside. And which is something as a child I did and just wouldn't think of saying cooped up in the house yet. You speak Jamaican?
You are crazy, man.
You crazy, man?
You crazy. You crazy.
What? Who's crazy?
You are crazy.
I'm crazy, man.
You are crazy.
You speak Jamaican? How you speak Jamaican?
You crazy, man. You crazy.
Who's crazy? You crazy?
You crazy.
He's crazy? He's crazy. Who wants the black soup? You want the black soup? Everything Irie, man. Everything Irie. You eat black soup. Oh. Hey, man.
They got this. Jamaica. I am belly so big, man. I eat so much food.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta go get it. That's what our kids do today. They play video games. They have their tablets and cell phones and things that their social media, and they really electronically communicate is what I'm saying. And so one particular group of kids that I went to, they looked almost like convicts. They went to school, and it was really hard to look at. The colors that they wore and everything, man. I don't know. I really didn't get into that too much, but I tried to stay away and not comment or not get involved, so to speak, but just to take pictures of what I saw. One particular church we went to, they were expecting us there, and we were supposed to do a concert for the kids, and not very many kids showed up at first. I'm not sure they really advertised it properly, but not very many kids showed up. So one of the guys that was with us, Brian, he gave the kid a piece of candy, and I looked at him and I said, boy, you've got a friend for life now. And he handed me the bag of candy, and he said, go outside and make some friends. So I went outside and I saw a kid, and I said, hey, you want some candy? And the kid ran over, and I gave her a piece of candy, and she took off running. When she came back, she had a friend, and that friend wanted a piece of candy, and they took off again. And then another friend came, and pretty soon we had about 30 kids that were kind of coming in wanting to listen to the concert and seeing what was up. And so after the concert was over, one of the little girls came over, and she was talking to me, and she says, my tooth hurt. And she started pointing to her tooth. And I said, well, when you go home, tell your mommy that your tooth hurts. And she says, my mommy's not home. And I thought, well, when she gets home, you tell her. And she kind of looked at me like there was something else she wanted to say, but I better not say it. And so she went to play with the other kids, and I saw her go outside. And I saw another kid put her hand over her back, and they kind of went out of my vision, but it looked like she was crying. So a little while later, she came back, and I was really worried about this child. And I said to myself, we got to do something. So I looked at some of the other kids, and I talked to them for a while. And there was one particular kid, he kept coming over to get a piece of candy from me. And I called him a politician because everybody got one piece of candy, but he was trying to get as much as he possibly could. And so I just called him a politician. But shortly after that, the little girl came back in, and she was smiling and jumping with the other kids, and I guess her tooth stopped hurting. So I told him, she sat down with my sister, and I told my sister that she had a bad tooth. And so my sister asked all of them to hold hands, and they prayed for her. And so I thought that was kind of nice that they all prayed together. The thing was though, I honestly, man, I wanted to just take this girl somewhere and just take her to a dentist and get her teeth fixed, because I've had a bad tooth before, and I know how bad that hurts. And then I found out that her tooth had been hurting for several months. And you just got to say to yourself, how can these people deal with this? And I guess you just have to learn that they have to deal with it. There's no way out for them. And so I felt really bad about it, and I wanted to kind of bring her back and just kind of kidnap her. And I said, well, no, you can't do that. How would I feel if somebody took my kid, and to another country? And so I had to leave. And we went on the rest of our tour with another church that we were visiting, and our driver wanted to stop and said, let me show you this little area right here. And we couldn't drive across it because it was called Swing Bridge. And that's exactly what it was, this bridge that was, if you looked at it by American standards, that bridge would have been condemned, because the small cable that it had to actually hold that bridge up, it was named right, the Swing Bridge. And so I'm thinking to myself, we got to walk across this. And some guy on a motorcycle, as we got about halfway, he came through, and I figured, well, if it didn't bother him, I guess they're used to it, and it's probably not going to be a problem. And so we went on, and when we got to the end of the bridge, I had been praying for this girl. God, what do you want me to do? It's really bothering me that kid's tooth hurt, because like I said, I've had a toothache before, and I know how bad it hurts. And so for some reason, something told me to stay at the bridge. And they all looked at me, and they says, don't you want to go back here and to this other couple places that they had back there? I forget what all it was, but there was an area that our driver wanted to take us in to see. And I said, no, I'm going to sit right here for some reason. And I don't know what it was, just something inside of me. And while I was there, I was just kind of praying, God, do something for this child. And this couple walked up, and they didn't look like they were from the area. So I just kind of spoke to them. Hey, how you doing? And they spoke to me. They were very friendly, and we kind of got to talking. And I found out that they were doctors, and that they were from Illinois, United States. And I'm thinking, oh, great. So the more I talked to them, I found out that they basically come down there to do missionary work and to work on their practice. So they give free services to the people that were there. And so I told them about this little girl and the area that they were in. And they were telling me, well, we're not sure we can actually find the little girl, but that they would go, probably most likely be in that area and helping those people. And I thought, like, okay, that would be great. And so when we got finished talking, my sister and their whole group came back, and they spoke to him, and we had a nice little conversation. And then the couple walked away, and they never crossed the bridge. It was almost like they were coming there to meet me. And it's funny, because as I got back in the van and we drove off, I got this sense that God was going to take care of that little girl. And I mean, at one point I almost cried, and I still think about this story. It just saddens me, but God just kind of laid something on my heart that, He's going to take care of this little girl. You don't have anything to worry about. And so never really knew how things turned out. It was back in January when I saw her, but I just thank God that He gave me that comfort in my heart. And I do believe that He did do something for this girl.